No doubt the most common justification from the hunting community that I hear to justify hunting, but also some like to feel benevolent about their choices to hunt, is that they're doing it to control populations with the goal that they will be reducing overall suffering of the species by not allowing the population to get so bad that it apparently causes starvation and diseases. When we remove our desire to see animals as commodities, we will realize that nature can balance out quite well on her own. When we actually look around at the biggest causes of environmental destructions, it's not wild animals overpopulating, it's human animals overpopulating. See, our species is the species of concern when we're talking about wildlife degradation, when we're talking about natural land degradation. It would be humans of concern that are causing all these issues here. So, and I think once we really look at it and we start realizing that, wow, majority of our destruction of like natural land is for animal agriculture, whether it's crops to feed the animals or directly the land that the animals live on. Most of the land in America, at least, and most modern countries, is destroyed for the sake of animal agriculture. Though, just in the spirit of not dodging the premise, let's imagine there's a world where there's a natural species of animals that are getting such a seriously overpopulated population that scientists have done a study and they've proven that, guys, look, we could take like 80% of the population from experiencing significant suffering their entire life, 80% of their day just suffering, and we can really cut that number in half if we just lower the population. Well, first of all, I'd like to get into the fact that we could probably make this same exact argument about humans. If we could figure out a way to lower the population of humans, we could probably reduce suffering for the greater whole that is existing left on it. Like a larger percentage of society would live more lavishly, have more resources if we had a smaller population. So this same argument could be applied back to humans. So first of all, I think it's just kind of a dangerous justification, but let's go ahead and say that like we are going to go and play the role of God on animals that we wouldn't do on humans, which in itself is speciesist. Because, like I said, I don't think we would do this to humans. We wouldn't go shooting humans to reduce the population, to reduce suffering. If we really did want to play God, I think we could propose a lot more ethical solutions that we would potentially even want done if in their positions. So rather than shooting bullets at them, which I think we could all argue that if somebody made a rule that they're going to start trying to lower the population of humans for what I presented earlier, I think one of the last options we'd want them to do is just to start shooting 1% of humans every year so that they could keep the population from growing too fast. I think what would probably be a more ethical solution to the problem is force contraceptive drugs on the animals. If you really wanted to play the God situation on them, what we could do is use drones to drop food droppings that have contraceptive drugs in the food. This food would obviously have the effect of stopping their reproductive abilities. So effectively, you would stop that animal and the animals in the herd from growing the population. And that method would not really take much money either. I mean, drones aren't that expensive these days. The drugs probably aren't that expensive these days. And if you take into the account the fact that we spend tens of billions of dollars in the U.S. alone on subsidizing animal products, meat, dairy, and eggs, to make them affordable for the general public, while also making it so the farmers can turn a profit on these very hard to turn a profit products. So in a vegan world, We could take that money and allocate it to programs like this that would manage all the very rare cases of animals overpopulating and causing them significant suffering if we truly wanted to go about reducing their suffering. I just think that as soon as I present this much more ethical, much more logical solution to the problem, I don't think much hunters are going to be signing up to spend their money on that if they're not getting in return the legal right to shoot an animal like they get when they get their hunting license. If you remove the fact that you're paying for a hunting license because it's required for you to go and steal meat off of a living sentient animal that never did anything to anybody, but yet we treat them worse than the worst criminals because we care about their population, though.